Okay, so the time is 6:35. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. All present except for Trevor. He'll be here. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as I said, Trevor will be here. He just be running late. He wants to watch his kids in the process. Okay, before we do the consent agenda, I'll just let you know that Mr. Radigan had sent us a letter requesting to put what he had said at the last meeting. I think you guys should have received that. It was based on what we know about it. It doesn't have to be in there. We don't have to put that stuff in there. So it's really up to the council if you want to have it put in there or not. I mean,
I certainly don't have any problem with it, but the question I recall, I'm not sure how you stated it, but was back in 2019 in one of our meetings with Mountain Water Works. They were presenting some rate numbers due to our application for a block grant. And with the current enrollment on our water system, the projected water rates would be, it was way out there, it was horrendous. $200, $300 a month. And we have never signed anything with Mountain Water Works. We have not conducted anything with Mountain Water Works, so I don't know why it can't be on the record, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. Well, it's totally up to you guys. So before I even go to the consent agenda, I just wanted to see if that's something you want to do, or we'll just approve the consent agenda as is.
My feelings are just to approve it as is because it doesn't make a difference here. There's not something that's impacting us. I mean, I don't care either way, so tie vote.
I have the same opinion. It's irrelevant, and it's already stuff that's on record that we've discussed and doesn't have any pertinence to that meeting.
That's what I
So,
was thinking.
Okay.
but
Okay, fine.
Okay, so we need to have a motion to approve the consent agenda to include the minutes of November 10th and for the regular meeting, review the payables and financials. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion
Yes.
passed. Okay, water master report. Water, do we have anything?
No.
Okay. New business, approve the election results from November 2nd, 2021. So the only part of the election, everybody, all the others that were involved in the election were not on the things. They automatically got that. So the only thing that was voted on was the
Non-property tax.
Special non-property tax, yeah. And that was 66.15%, 43 voted in favor, and 33.85% voted against. So it passed. Is there anything specific we need to do with that? Just
Yeah, you need
a motion?
to approve the canvassed election results request.
Okay, so do we have a motion to accept the canvass election?
I'll make a motion to approve the official election results from November 2nd, 2021.
Okay,
I'll second.
second. Okay, do we have, is this a roll call or just a?
I would do a roll call.
Okay. Steve McAninch,
Yes.
Ty Archer,
Yes.
Laura Alexander.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, so next thing on the agenda, my thing, an update, that's really quick. I knew this was gonna be a short meeting. COVID-19 update, vaccinations, Boise County. I didn't get my normal letter in that I usually do. And there's not a lot to tell anyway right now. We're plateaued right now, and it's it's trending to go down. So that's a good thing. We're starting to go down on that. We're in the orange right now, which is one of the lower levels, which is another good thing. Hospitals have been, the ones, I don't know about the north, but I know down here, they're getting back to normal. And the only thing that's come up is the new version of the COVID, which right now they really don't know a lot about. They are thinking that it's not as bad as a Delta, which is good. It's just more transmissible, especially to those who haven't had their shots or anything like that. Other than that, that's really all I have on that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I might. So I think we're in the same judicial district as that Elmore County is. And the Supreme Court order regarding court proceedings regarding COVID had previously suspended all jury trials. That is over with, so that like Elmore County's rate was in the 9, so it's gotta be, if it's over 25 per 100,000 or whatever, jury trials will be suspended. But most court proceedings are presumptively by Zoom, but if there's, this week's scheduled pretrial conferences and jury trials could have resulted in an in-person jury trial in Elmore County, and I suspect that if that number is similar, then Boise County would be the same. So it'll start trending back toward more in-person court appearances than.
We'll just have to see what happens and see. They say the Pfizer booster helps a little bit more than the other ones, but they won't know this for a while. Takes a little while for that. Okay, so next thing, I just had to put on the agenda, and it's going to be up to Trevor to keep it on there, but that would be the law enforcement speeders. I just bring that up again because something has to be done. Right now it's starting to get winter, and I think people are starting to slow down a little bit, or they're going to be in the ditch. But we did, spring and summer comes, it's something you guys need to really look at. Okay, next thing here, city planner update. Well, Trevor's not here, but we do have the person that was the city planner, was it Emmett?
I'm retired. I like to say I'm retired.
Oh, retired, yeah, I said was, I said.
My last,
Okay, so I'm gonna let her go ahead and talk.
Steve, good to see you again. It's been a while. I was afraid I was gonna sit in someone's favorite seat, so I sat. Here in a small town. So I brought my resume. I just see folks approached me after contacting Jerome Knapp. And Jerome had recommended, he knew I was going to be retiring. I think I've met you before too.
Maybe.
We talked about Parma years ago.
Oh, yes.
At your
Yes,
offices.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the last 8 years, I just have my resume. I thought I'd give you guys. It was a good reason to update it and get to add the word retired. I'm a Hokie, but Auburn's in the SEC, right? I'm a Hokie, but always get one for the clerk. So that's just some of my background. I've been in Idaho about, it's been 25 years this year. And I think the last time I came down this road was 1990. It was before they had terrible mudslides. It was like New Year's Eve,
wow.
That was in
1996. But the year before, my husband had met back east. He was in horticulture, and we went out to Ward's greenhouse before they slid down the hill, I guess. And that was my introduction to Idaho, was coming to Garden Valley. Like, we lived in the Philadelphia area at the time. But I have been a county planner for doing rural issues, especially in Virginia. And Pennsylvania, where I worked, we did a comp plan that actually won a national award, which is kind of shocking. And it was adopted the last day before I moved to Idaho, which is really weird, but to a lot of praise by the community, which was like very emotional for me, because I knew I would be moving to Idaho, and here everybody was like, great plan, but the adoption of a plan is always the last 5%. Put all the heavy lifting and the public involvement and the meetings and just all of that. So Jerome thought that you all might need an update, but I don't know anything about Crouch. I am happy to help. I'm happy to pro bono come back in January. I guess there's gonna be some turnover. I'm looking at some of the dates here on your, I'm not sure who's sticking around, but I'm happy to do kind of a pro bono workshop, kind of what we call a SWOT analysis. So everybody kind of gets on the same page, what are your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And then just see where we're at. And I had given you a survey and they sent it to me. I don't know, somebody tweaked a Crouch survey. I'm happy to get a Survey Monkey put together pro bono and I'd like to have the community lead that, whether it's a city council or somebody. My job as a planner has always been to kind of stay and help you be the best versions of yourself and be your plan. It's not my plan. I don't have any preconceptions of what you're supposed to, what you should do or not do. It's really up to that community, and that's where having the leadership workshop and having the public really provides that foundation of what direction the community wants to go. So I'm happy to do that, if that's in January, whatever. And then as that goes in, if the new mayor and council want to do a comp plan update, then we can look at a scope of work for that. But these gals were asking me, like, how much does that cost? I said, well, I'm happy to do this stuff pro bono, because I am a member of AICP, and it doesn't mean any idiot can plan, but it's been my professional certification since 1991, and part of our ethical obligations is to help communities that don't have a lot of resources. And I'm retired, and I'm happy, and I don't need to work, and I'm only going to do projects that I think are going to be fun, which is crazy of me, right? And I like small communities. When I was last in Canyon County for the last 8 years, I really, my favorite part of the job was working with the Parmas and the Wilders, and in one community, which I was really happy the clerk would call me, because they were coming through a difficult period where the prior clerk ended up in jail, and this poor clerk couldn't find the zoning ordinance. They didn't have maps. They just, and I checked with the commissioners. I said, geez, they're part of the county. Can't we help them out? And so we got them squared away. She did have to totally retype the zoning ordinance, and they couldn't figure out, they couldn't find their comp plan. It was a sad thing. So,
You're gonna have nightmares.
So I really like helping communities, if you can't tell. It's just my nature. And whatever that is. But I do have, my education background is actually in political science, but I double majored in forestry and wildlife, which is one reason my first trip to Idaho was one of our very best friends was a district ranger in New Meadows. And and I was laughing because driving here tonight reminded me of the story that he was pretty much a newlywed. And he picked his new wife up at the airport in Boise, and they headed up 55 to New Meadows. And I kept thinking, I think it was probably after Horseshoe Bend, if I had to guess. She said, because he said, well, we're going to get on the highway and then just go to New Meadows. And about north of Horseshoe Bend, she goes, when are we getting on the highway? This is the highway. And nothing really has changed much, I don't think, since then, but that was in the late 80s. But I do have a lot of background in land use law. I have a good understanding of, going through a forestry program, timber, just all of that. I did work one summer for the Forest Service. I was looking at the CCC stuff in the museum, and I'm like, I was in the YCC in New Hampshire. And what else is there? I think, is the city engineer Forest Green still? Or, I don't know, Forest Green, or is it somebody else these days? Do you know?
Mountain Waterworks.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the engineer? Oh, okay, because all we really have is just
Yeah,
the
we
water.
use forest green with the water.
With the water,
But,
oh, okay.
A
But
while ago.
I called my transportation tour of duty. I worked at Compass for about 2.5 years, so I know all the crazy transportation funding, and I did hear about your roads. You don't own your roads. There's just kind of is it all prescriptive?
Yes.
Yeah. All of those issues, and I'd like to understand a community, see what its needs are, and then get on the phone to see if we can get some help here for wherever, you know what I mean? I mean, I really, I worked for the city of Boise before I went to Camden County, and the gals that worked for me called me the great connector, 'cause I'm like, you have that and you have that, it's like, you two get together because you can we'll figure this out, and then on to the next thing, you know, and get those relationships going. So that's what my thought is. I can put together kind of a workshop outline. I'll leave it up to the city what kind of time you want to dedicate to that. I try not to ever have meetings more than 2 hours because you kind of go brain dead after that. You know, it's hard to sustain
Or you tell me
the
what days you want to
momentum.
work.
And we'll see. I don't know how much changeover. Trevor, so we already have a Mayor Trevor in Star, so we have the second Mayor Trevor here in Crouch. So
Trevor's mayor. Steve will be staying, me.
And you're,
I'm out.
Clay Smith, he's a new council.
you're no. Congratulations, is that right?
Now that you're here, yes. Right, Fuller?
And,
Be careful of what you wish for.
leave it up for the, if there's other, you know, urgency for code work, whatever, I'm happy usually when I work with the jurisdiction, even when I work for the county, it's always your city attorney leads the way, and I support that, but I do remember one of my first days at Camden County, I got to meet with the chief civil prosecutor and all the other civils, and they leaned forward and they said, you know, we really don't know much about land use law. And I said, that's okay, I do. One of the things in retirement, because I'm really weird, is I want to write because I've seen communities struggle with subdivisions, I want to write a model subdivision ordinance, because planners, everybody struggles with it. And even when I was I'm going to say somewhere, the engineer struggled with it, and I had to find stuff in state law to help out, you know, to get through a plat amendment, you know, and there's just weird stuff with subdivisions, and I think since I've encountered every weird scenario, I think I'm duty bound to write that down, so no one has to go through that struggle, but
That'd be good.
I really like writing code.
We
I just
probably like
really-
ours updated, right, Thor?
And I don't like,
But we like that updated,
yeah.
our subdivision ordinance,
Because when I worked
updated,
on the-
cleaned up and streamlined.
Ada County zoning ordinance. Oh my God, there was a use called sauerkraut manufacturing, and I'm like, sweet, what, why, you know? So I took great pride. I joked with the prosecutor, I was gonna get it down to what it could be a pocket-sized zoning ordinance. We just slashed and burned. There were like 15 zoning districts. I mean, it was like bad plumbing over time, just added, you know, and after a while, it was just out of control. So it's kind of the minimum words necessary is my philosophy on regulations. So, and it's not, I used to joke at Caldwell, they had a person who now is out of state who wrote a 50-page landscape ordinance. Who's gonna administer a 50-page landscape ordinance? So anyway, I offer that up too. I enjoy that. I don't
We'll
know,
work
Jeff.
well.
Yeah, we'll work well. I know. Yeah, I guess it's been a long time since I had
Well, I was,
breakfast at Capri's with Susan, and she's doing other things now.
yeah,
But
so I was, before
yeah.
I went to law school, and I got into this for the
Yeah.
land use aspect, but you'll be surprised, I was pleasantly surprised with some parts of Crouch's zoning and subdivision ordinance, and surprisingly, and Jerome did a lot, he did that in the comp plan,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of good structure to it. There's some tweaking that needs to be
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
obviously, but,
yeah.
in fact, I stole one of the provisions from Crouch's and gave it to Greenleaf,
Ah,
just not that long ago.
oh, good.
So,
But yeah, I know when I worked at Ada County, I used to get a call from the Canyon County prosecutor at the time and like ask about a code, because we were writing the zoning ordinance for Ada County and, you know, and he'd call me and I'd like answer it. I'd never met the person. I'd email it to him, then I'd call the staff and say, hey, your attorney just called me, just so you guys are in the loop here, because I just thought that was really odd. I probably over-communicate, but I think I'd rather have that than someone say, oh, I didn't know. we worked on the area of impact, that's the other thing I have a lot of, you see the stars in the county, but in Canyon County, one of the best compliments I got was from the former planning director of the city of Caldwell, because Nampa and Caldwell needed to adjust their boundary. And I said, okay guys, this is a lot of choreography, and we're dealing with 2 cities in the county, and a P&Z hearing, and a governing board hearing. We're gonna chart it all out, we're gonna figure it all out, and we're gonna say, you know, planes on a runway, here's how it's gonna, you know, go, and how we all have to, like, after each hearing, make sure if anything changes, that we're all still on the same sheet of music there. And we did it, but I decided to over-notice. And I felt that the public, if they were going to either go out or go in, that they should get a hearing notice. So we over-noticed it. And then all these people showed up at Caldwell's hearing, and their attorney wasn't happy. But I'm like, I took it as a badge of honor, people showed up, you know, because, and we got good input, and it wasn't like people were against it, they wanted information, and once they got good information, you know, they were happy with it. Because usually they came to the P&Z, found out, and then were either okay, and if they weren't okay, then they went to the governing board hearing. But they knew they had a couple chances, and end of the day, I think it ended up 95% of how it started. But everybody was super happy, and I think that's a win for everybody, that we, you know, we did it. I've never feared public involvement, it should be. I'm the weirdo, it's like when you have a lot of people show up at a hearing, it's like, this is awesome, you know, versus, oh. And I believe in a lot of transparency, especially with the planning process and any zoning regulations. People need to know how it's going to affect their property. So my philosophy on zoning is shared burden, shared benefit. Everybody agrees to the regulations. They should all, the benefits of that should be really clear, and that's how you get acceptance of those. So anyway, so that's Tricia in a nutshell. Is there any questions or?
No, it's very good.
Okay.
I was just looking, oh yeah, I was just looking, our next meeting when all this cakewalk's gonna shuffle out is
Yeah.
January 12th.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's gonna set the agenda, whether it would probably be you. Let's make sure and have her on our agenda, and then we'll set a
Yeah.
date at that time, probably
Okay.
somewhere around.
I don't want to.
Well,
This is new people are here. I don't want to surprise anybody.
No, that would be good,
Yeah.
and then we'll pick a time when the
Yeah.
roads are good and stuff, and then that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
One of
that'd
my favorite oxymorons is a long-range planning emergency.
be- Yeah,
So, and I'm happy to stick through the rest of the meeting. just
All right,
so I can-
super.
And thank you for opening the museum up today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay. So, scheduled delegations, road committee report.
nothing, Laura
Sounds
gave me
Did you
some,
talk to her?
I did not. No, I did not. I didn't even try. I forgot about it, actually. But I wanted to call Ted Holmes. I guess Laura thinks he's the guy to call to talk about working with the county, not only on plowing snow, but on striping this road next summer. And so, I think if I can get a hold
And
of some.
asphalt,
Pardon?
and asphalt, yeah.
Yeah, if some asphalt's gonna happen, that would be nice, yeah.
He took it over when Bill Jones resigned, so.
Ted did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The
okay.
commissioner, he might have appointed somebody, but
What's what I was thinking, probably.
he's still
Okay,
in the know.
yeah.
And also on the roads, I want to mention that at least for the next month or so, the businesses need to fill their potholes. We did it the one time, but we're not gonna continue that. Because I don't know if you've noticed, Darren,
I did, I saw this a little
they're,
bit.
yeah, getting bad again. Okay. Crouch Garden Valley Museum report.
She said there isn't any.
There isn't any?
No.
Wait, you're gonna talk before our next meeting, right? To Ted?
Pardon?
You're gonna talk to Ted before our next meeting?
I want to, yes.
Okay.
Okay, unscheduled delegations. Anything unscheduled? Okay, so next thing on there is the clerk's report. I'm assuming that you're gonna talk about the signs I saw.
Right,
Steve did it.
yeah. Yes, thank you for doing that. They're up, yay. There's not really much to say.
What signs, remind us?
Building permits required.
Oh.
Yeah, and I noticed
I noticed that.
the crop sign is not over, there's no crop sign over there anymore.
But Mark,
Yeah,
oh, I know, I looked around and I couldn't find anything,
yeah, I just,
I've been here 4 years and don't ever remember one over being by the park.
yeah.
I could have swore there was one over there though.
I just kinda went back, actually walked out in the park and kinda went, and, that telephone pole was right on the line, so that's where I went.
Yeah, and that's something to think about in the future too, when we were talking about those, because Crouch is getting bigger.
Yeah.
Do we wanna, or do you want to put a sign somewhere else to?
Right.
Okay, go ahead, do you have anything else on your report?
She's the clerk.
Oh, I'm sorry, treasurer, yeah, clerk, I'm sorry.
There's not a lot. Community Hall has been busy with holiday traffic. Tree lighting was really nice, good turnout. Volunteers decorated City Hall and it looks really nice. And then y'all saw the little thing for the kids, Readers Become Leaders. Oh, the Community Hall has a bad smell, Steve checked it out today. They're thinking it's the exhaust, the fumes off of the water heater. So he turned it off, he's gonna check to see if the smell is still there, or gone. If so, we will get a plumber out to look at it and see what's going on with
We have a new one.
it. Yeah, and we were wondering if like the exhaust on it, that pipe that goes up, if it's clogged or, we don't know.
It hasn't been flushed probably in a long time. It might have mineral on the bottom.
Something, yeah, so we'll have that checked out. And we are still looking for another person for city council. We're still short one person.
Okay.
Somebody
I have
backed
a-
out.
Yeah.
Some people don't know that word. Maybe I'm just gonna go talk to them again.
And that's all. Yep.
Okay. Then, next one, treasurer's report.
We now have trash pickup.
Woo-woo.
I know, I'm so excited, you have no idea. And, there's not much, that's all I have. really.
Where are you keeping it?
Right on this side, behind where you walk in the door, on the ground over there.
Do you
And they'll
think we
pick
need
it
to
up
put
every Tuesday.
city use only on it? Are you worried about campers and people adding to it, or?
I don't think it's big enough, I don't think anybody is going to do that. I know that they have that problem at the Chevron and at the grocery store. I
And
don't
pay it
think
forward.
we're gonna
I
have
can
it.
make a sign, we can put it in plastic and put on there. I
Yeah, we
mean,
can do it.
At least
you know,
try, yeah.
Maybe the
Violators will be shot.
To not really see them.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know about it.
Mhm.
You know, on your house.
That's a great idea.
Oh, I do have one more thing. The Idaho Rebounds money the only thing that we qualify for is to use that for water or broadband. So that money needs to go into the water so that we can use it if something happens to any of the water. And I think the Zoom stuff should go into the museum. I mean, come out of the museum, really, that money.
The ring.
The ring, what did I say?
Zoom.
Zoom, yeah. No,
Which
the
I
ring.
have to, I promise it will be up before I'm gone. Trevor supposed to said he would help. My wife doesn't want me to get up on ladders.
Yeah, and
I just need some help to.
you just need to text me next time, Bob. You told me you were hanging stuff around the house. You're
Yeah.
supposed to text me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was mad at me, I don't know why. She was mad at you.
Okay, anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, miscellaneous routine matters, I've got a couple things I just wanna let you, kind of remind you about. First of all, this is not really a reminder, but for the past 5 or 6 years, I don't know how many years I've been doing this now, but they have a walk, it's with St. Luke's, and it's a mayor's walk, it's in October, you walk so many steps, I'll get that information
Yeah,
to you.
send it
Once
to
you
me.
continue on that with that, it was 10,000 steps, you get $1,000, and you get to give it to either the city, the school, the park, something like that. It has to go for, it's very specific as far as being, not athletic, but, you know, the athletic type stuff.
Or physical.
Physical, that's what I'm thinking of, that's what I'm thinking of. And this year, I only had to walk 5,000 steps, and I got $500, and I donated that money to the ropes course, because that's something, physical activity is one of the big portions of that. So that went to Trevor's, well, not Trevor, it went to Keely, that's right, because
Yeah.
Keely's
8th grade
taking over now.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that continued. I have a watch, but they've always offered, you know, if you don't have a watch, it takes, you know,
Okay.
that information. But I'll let them know about you being in, because I want that to continue, because it was a great thing. I always gave it to the school, you know, I think, because I worked at the school for some time, so. The other thing is, I want to remind you that we still have to work on that signs ordinance. The signs ordinance, we never really got that completed, so just remember to do that. And the last thing is, I don't know, it was a year or two, you reminded me about the dark skies thing. I wanted to get this dark skies thing implemented, and we were trying to get people over from Sun Valley to come over, but it was during the winter time. I will volunteer to help with that in the spring, or the summer is probably about the best time, if the council, city still wants to go forward looking at the dark skies ordinances.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Thunder Mountain Fitness, it's like an airport runway.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I mean, I go up on the top of my hill, my telescopes, and look around and everything. And I do have lights, but, you know, but they're not on all the time. So just a couple things just to remember. Okay, anything else?
Who's plowing? Shepherd's plowing?
Yes.
Yes.
And we talked to him about the hydrants? Making sure not to plow
I
over the
haven't talked to
hydrants?
them at all, like they haven't come in or anything.
Okay,
To watch,
yeah, our fire
don't put
hydrants.
snow.
So I have a question, since you just mentioned the hydrants. I have a couple of people that have mentioned that some of these hydrants don't work. What if there's a fire, the city's liable, yada yada. So I called the fire department, I'm like, who flushes these out? And they said, well, the city does. And I'm like, well, who in the city? Because I don't know how to do it. So who do I go to now? The
Terry.
fire department won't help
Terry's
me.
done it.
Terry does it.
I can't get a hold of Terry.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, because we pay taxes to the fire department, whether we're in the city or in the county. And the fire department has jurisdiction over the city. They get huge money, they should be dealing with it, with the fire, with the,
They're the ones who use them, right?
Yes, exactly.
So they ought to make sure they're working order for
yeah, it
themselves.
makes no sense that anybody but them should be doing it, so they're familiar with where the fire hydrants are, that they're working and all this stuff. I would throw it back at them and say, hey, this is wrong. And if they don't accept it, go to the state fire guy.
Well, we have a new fire chief, so you guys can talk with him.
Mr. Mayor, if I may comment,
Sure.
the water system is owned by the city, and this fire department here is not a city fire department.
No, but they use the.
Understood, they use it, yes. And so normally, the city would be the one responsible for the maintenance
And that's, yeah, that's.
on the fire
But all of our
hydrants.
taxes go to the county fire
It's
department.
something we just, we can, if they agree to it, we can,
Maybe they could at least point us to someone that would.
yeah, so it's
And-
just something that you.
I think Terry wanted to be in charge of it, didn't he?
We had my predecessor as the attorney, there was some dispute over who was supposed to be opening them up and flushing them and then what they were doing with them. And I can go back through that correspondence, and then maybe we can reach out to the fire district and get that set up so that it's a more congenial.
Steve, if you'll talk to Terry too about it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I know the current chief a little bit too, I could stop and talk with him, maybe get something, I don't think it's that big a deal, we'll get something.
It's not, but if I might make a suggestion to have a key available in case when the fire department does open the hydrant and it breaks and won't close, that they know where the valves are
Oh.
to shut it off.
Yeah, that's,
Which is one reason why some jurisdictions that aren't part of the city don't touch them.
right,
Okay,
yeah, I don't blame you.
anything else? Okay, we have a special meeting next Wednesday at 6:30. And I said, hopefully I'll be here on time, I will be here. But my wife's got an MRI and get up here as soon as it's open.
I will make that one on time.
Yeah.
I just found out about
And after that, next regular meeting is January 12th, and that will be the meeting where we put in the new mayor and you can say goodbye to the old mayor.
You just look too happy.
Okay, it
Just so that-
is,
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
just want to add one thing. On that special meeting, it's a city council meeting, and you're holding two public hearings, one on the amendment to the zoning code and one on a possible rezoning. It's not necessary for the council to take action at that meeting, so just be cognizant of your time. It's just to get the regulatory step of taking the public testimony, holding the public hearing, so it's at the decision of the council whether or not, you can still put an action item to make a decision, say on the rezone, or on the zoning ordinance update. If you want to gather more information on the other, depending on what the testimony looks like. And that will allow us to draft a cleaner, more accurate findings of fact for the conclusions of law.
from experience, I would probably advise that you don't do any action items. The incident, for example, when we were trying to change the name of Crouch, it was probably a good thing to have that, and then the next meeting we decided, in that way you can think about just what we're wanting.
I got what, I didn't hear it come up, and I just thought of this. So we got the tax approved, and it goes into effect in January. Does anybody need to give everybody how they're gonna do this as far as businesses and everything?
So,
You guys are working on it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get a hold
But
of
doesn't
the
the
lady
board
in
need to-
Donley, and I can't get a hold of her.
so the clerk has provided like a sample of the form that we would send to the businesses for the reports, also one for the licenses. The first step will be, the summary of the ordinance will be published in the paper, but the ordinance itself has the details of how it's to be applied. We can make a more succinct like handbook to give to the businesses, and then it'll be up to them. But yeah, the clerk and I have some work to do to get that put together.
Okay, because I've been asked by 2 different businesses.
They're starting to come into it here too.
Okay. So it is 7:14, we'll go ahead and adjourn.